Arkansans are heading to the polls this week. Early voting starts today, and some local issues include a 1% sales tax and bond funding in Bella Vista, and a proposal to annex property in southern Greenland. In Ozark, the community is deciding if they want a permanent entertainment district.
Yeah, 5 News reporter Emily Moss live there now where that measure is supported by city leaders. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. The entertainment district issue was already passed by City Council earlier this spring. The residents came together and formed a group to create a petition that had enough signatures to make it a referendum on this year's ballot. Now, starting today, Ozark residents can start making their voices be heard on this issue before the official voting day next Tuesday. Let's talk about what the proposed district is. It would create boundaries downtown that would allow open alcohol use through special wristbands and cups. Patrons would be given by participating businesses. The new district would not impact taxes, as the cost would fall on participating businesses in Main Street Ozark, who is proposing the plan. Right now, Fayetteville has a similar district near Dixon Street, as does Mountain Home. Roots Ozark, or residents organizing Ozark to Stand, says while they do think that change could be needed to encourage growth in the city, they do not believe that expanding alcohol use is the way to get there. They have sent me a statement which reads in part, the public consumption of alcoholic beverages on the sidewalks and public outdoor spaces sends a bad message about our priorities, sets a terrible example for our young people and children, and will inevitably have detrimental effects on our quality of life. Sandwiched between two dry counties and as part of Arkansas wine country, Main Street Ozark argues that this plan allows them to better regulate a drinking culture that already exists in the city by providing clear boundaries and rules for where and how the beverages can be consumed, while promoting higher foot traffic and tourism in the downtown area.
It's about regulation. It's about doing something to improve our city in a way that also honors the culture that we have and honors the way that all of our residents know and love this region.
Now, like we said earlier, the polls will open at 8 o'clock this morning here at the training center. This is where the early voting will take place today through next Tuesday when the actual vote starts. And by the end of Tuesday, we'll have the results on whether or not Ozark will get an entertainment district. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that report, Emily. 6:35 this morning, and today the U.S. House back in session for the first time in nearly 2 months.
Representatives are facing a vote to finally end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The revised Senate-approved funding bill would reopen the government through January 30th, reverse layoffs, and guarantee back pay for federal workers.
It also maintains funding for programs like SNAP, but does not extend key Affordable Care Act subsidies, a major point of contention for House Democrats.
All the difficulty Americans have endured in these past 6 weeks could have and should have been avoided.
But with House approval, the government could reopen within days, and federal workers could start receiving back pay almost immediately.
Well, as the government shutdown drags on, we're tracking how it's impacting people right here at home.
5 News reporter Jacob Luthi spoke with local leaders and joins us now with more. Good morning, Jacob.
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. Congressman Steve Womack says that the House has not convened in over 50 plus days. He says that he will be back in Washington, D.C. today. In fact, we just saw him about an hour ago getting ready to go through security right here at XNA. And he says the goal is to try and get the shutdown ended by end of day today, hoping to get a bill to the president's desk by the end of day today. And he says that's necessary because they want to then get to work in funding for a lot of projects, especially right here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Now, Womack says he can no longer afford to delay and defer maintenance and construction of infrastructure projects, both here at home and across the country. One of the bills Womack hopes to get passed after the shutdown is the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development and Related Agencies Appropriations Act. He was introduced back in July. He says the bill would have a major impact right here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, funding projects like roads, bridges, railways, federal aviation, and housing assistance programs.
From a local standpoint, I've got over $100 million of infrastructure and related dollars that are going to come back to the 3rd District of Arkansas, but only if we can pass fiscal 26 appropriation bills. And that includes a lot of really, really good projects that benefit a lot of people that I represent. And I don't want to lose those for, again, another year.
Womack also addressed food insecurity that many in the country, including Arkansans, are facing. The Supreme Court Tuesday extended an order blocking full SNAP payments. On Saturday, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders directed another $500,000 to Arkansas food bank systems. Reopening the government would restart that SNAP program that thousands of Arkansans rely on, but it is still unclear how quickly payment of those funds would resume.
So the work that's happening through the food banks and through our church pantries and other organizations just reminds us all that we're in this together. And so I'm just very, very proud to represent an area that responds to people in need, like Northwest Arkansas does. Now, some of this hardship can be stopped if we can just get our work done in Congress. And tomorrow, that's exactly what I plan to do.
And that's exactly what Congressman Womack says he hopes to do today, right? And just speaking with him right here at the airport, he told us that they're expecting to vote on a bill to end the government shutdown again as early as this afternoon, and again hoping to get it to the president's desk by the end of day today. And if they're not able to, then as we mentioned before, we're talking about SNAP, those infrastructure projects, as well as again right here at the airport, where they could see 10% flight cancellations by those airlines by Friday. So time is of the essence is something that Womack definitely stressed. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. In our continuing coverage this morning, Arkansas State Police are investigating a deadly shooting out of Johnson County. Law enforcement telling us it happened Tuesday evening in the City Park area there in Coal Hill. Investigators have not said if they have a suspect. They'll, of course, stay with us here on 5 News this morning as we work to learn more about their investigation.
Well, in other news, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office is taking the next steps to identify human remains. It's only possible with help from the Attorney General's office. Attorney General Tim Griffin's office donated more than $5,000 to help pay for a DNA test. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office has been trying to identify remains for nearly a year.